guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today I want to talk about light tank gameplay and show you a video in which I showcase how to apply the tips and tricks I told you in my light tank tutorials. If you're interested in more reviews and gameplay, go to YouTube and search for World of Tanks with Bruce to get all of my videos, or click on the subscribe button. In addition to this, you can now also support me on Patreon, so feel free to follow this link and become a patron. And now let's go. On my channel, I publish 2 light tank tutorials. One is linked right here, the other one will be linked right afterwards. If you haven't watched those videos yet, I recommend to do so prior to watching this video. In those 2 tutorials, I gave you 16 tips and tricks for light tank gameplay. A tank class which is difficult to play, but which has the possibility of deciding games or of turning around games if they are not running as they should be, especially at the end of the game. So in this video I want to showcase one game, and little spoiler right here, point out that those tips will work for you. So let's see what we can achieve if we apply the tips and tricks of my light tank tutorials. Alright, here we are in the game. We are spawning on Prokhorovka in the north with our bulldog. And here you can see all the tips that I gave you in the previous 2 light tank tutorials. And in this video I want to show you what results we can achieve if we follow all those rules. Now, we are spawning on Prokhorovka, as I said. And first of all, we have to take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Prokhorovka in the north with the light tank, you have several options. First of all, you can go to a position here and conduct passive spotting, but this position is pretty dangerous at the beginning of the game. You can also go in such a position, which is also very dangerously if you conduct passive scouting, but you can also play on this flank and do active scouting. Now, what you can do at the very beginning is you can go to the center and try to spot the enemy team, so to give your team an early information on where all the different tanks are going. Or you can proceed to this flank and try to win this part of the map, outspotting those enemies, so to win this part of the map and then maybe push down here. Alright, so as you can see, I have 16 tips to follow. Some were duplicates, so it's only 16 or 20 tips. And the first thing I want to do is I want to assess the enemy light tanks. Now, let's pause here real quick. So we have 2 light tanks in the game, myself and the other M41 Bulldog. And then on the other team we have the HWK-30 and the M41 Bulldog. So no light tanks where I have to be afraid of. But what I want to do is I want to conduct active scouting at the beginning of the game to give my team the information on where the other team is going. And as you can see, we got crucial information here. So let's pause here and let's make the minimap bigger. So the crucial information is, okay, yeah, obviously heavy tanks are going to this position, which is no surprise at all. Good news or important information is that those 2 light tanks are playing on this flank. So this tells me that I have to do something to outperform those light tanks, so to outplay those light tanks, because playing against light tanks is the first task for you in a light tank. So what I want to do is, instead of going to a bush and conduct passive scouting, I want to conduct active scouting. Why? Well, because chances are that maybe the enemy lights are also set up as I'm talking about equipment, so equipment wise set up for perfect scouts, and so they might be able to outspot me. So what I want to do is, instead of conducting passive scouting, I want to make an active scouting run. So I use the bushes to advance and then move back into cover until I am not spotted anymore. Okay, now that was, sorry dude, that was a mistake by myself, sorry. And so with this, we could actually now make 1000 damage at the very beginning of the game. Now, it is very crucial that you understand in a light tank that you have to play against the other light tanks at the beginning of the game. Once the other light tanks are taken out of the game, then you have an advantage, and then you can conduct the cloud roll as you wish in the game. Now, as you can see, we assessed the enemy light tanks. We did not play too aggressively, but we consciously made active scouting runs. So we deliberately used active scouting at the beginning of the game in order to not get spotted and in order to give our team the information they need to win the game. Now, so the enemy team knows that I am conducting passive scout runs right here in this position. So what I want to do is now I want to change the flank and go to the 0 lane. Why so? Well, because I don't want to go to the same position every time again. And as I had minimap awareness, I saw that there are 3 tanks which have high firepower but no spotting capability, plus the WoT 46, which is also a tank with a very high firepower. But I want to support those teams, those tanks, to win the flank. Now, let's pause here real quick. Now, the problem is that once the enemy team has advanced to this position, it is pretty difficult to counter this aggressive move. Now, what is needed to counter this move is a tank which has a spotting advantage. And this is where I see my task. So, as you can see, I instantaneously spot the WoT 46, and maybe there are also other tanks. So, I want to help my team to take out those tanks which have played very aggressively. Now, so we already made use of our mobility. We have minimap awareness. We made use of our mobility. And now another thing is very important. I certainly have to know when I can shoot and when not to shoot. And in this situation, I certainly don't want to expose my tank for too long. I want to just peek out so far. And now the Tiger 2 is even looking at me, so I certainly do not want to peek out. I only want to peek out so that those tanks get spotted and that our tanks here in the middle can take them under fire. I certainly don't want to expose my tank for too long, so to get shots in return from the WoT 46 over here, and also from the Emil 1 and also from the Tiger 2. So you have to know when to shoot and when not to shoot. And now the good thing about going to this side is I certainly don't want to sit in the same bush, or in general sit in the bush if it's not necessary. So what I am doing here, I basically drive on top of the hill and then instantaneously reverse. So if I get spotted, the enemy tanks do not have the chance to actually take shots on me or get shots on me. So this is also very important and a thing which we are conducting right here in order to save hit points. So, so far we made 3100 damage, and it looks like with our tactic we are actually able to win this position. Now here you go, the enemy tier 8 tank destroyer, the new Czechoslovakian tank destroyer is taken out. Excellent. And so even in this situation we do not want to play too aggressively and want to just spot the Emil 2. Now the WoT is advancing, so now the attention of the Emil 1 is turned towards the WoT. So now it is our time to move out and to help him. And now as you can see, I've preloaded the HE because from the side I will certainly be able, okay, that was unfortunate, I will certainly be able to penetrate the Emil 1, and instead of making 240 damage, I could have made 320 damage. So yeah, I think we used HE if feasible. Now it was feasible, or it has been feasible, but unfortunately the Emil 1 is already taken out. So as you can see, the game is still pretty close. So still no time to just throw away our tank. And so, but as you can see, we have map control and we stayed alive until the end of the game. And now as the enemy light tanks are dead, it is our time to shine. So we stayed alive until the end of the game. And now it is time to flank the enemy. So I certainly do not want to push over here just on the 2-lane. But instead I want to flank the enemies. And now here, as you can see, I'm using the render range circles. So the view range circles. So that the Löwe is spotted. And but he cannot spot me in return because he's between the maximum view range circle and the render range circle. Now let's drive back and fall back into cover because chances are that the WoTBRUCEooo, he actually did not spot me due to my equipment. Perfect. And my camo value. Nice. And now it is time to incorporate our teammates. So let's pause here once again real quick, make the minimap bigger. As you can see, our team is positioned like this. And so as soon as those two heavy tanks will have advanced to this position, I'm in a perfect situation to incorporate all of my team for further assisting damage on the enemy team, which is most likely only in this position. So my goal here is to cautiously advance to this position, not over the open field like this, but behind cover, behind those little ridge lines here. So I want to advance like this in order to be safe for the most part, and then arrive at the enemy position with as many hit points as possible. And once again, patience is key to success. So have the patience right here until the T26E5 and the Löwe have advanced. Now can we get a shot on the WoTBRUCEooo 46? Here you go. So patience is key to success. And then what I want to do is I want to use this bush here and advance like this. And even in this situation, what I don't want to do is just rush into the enemy base and get killed, but I want to, if it is possible, maybe spot one tank out of a safe position, then maybe spot the other tank, so not to draw all the attention to my position. So here you go. I spotted two remaining tanks, and now they are taken under fire, and I can even get another shot. Nice. And so we already made 5,200 spotting damage on a map like this because we followed the rules I gave you in those two tutorials. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully this tank is taken out. Once again, patience is the key to success. As you can see, the Jisoo and the ISU 152 are still at full HP if the indication is not false. And so there's still a lot of HP to collect. Let's see. Here you go. I spotted an enemy tank, so I instantaneously reverse back into cover behind this ridgeline. And here you go. We are collecting further damage. Excellent. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So obviously tip number 15 and tip number 16 cannot be accomplished in this game because there was simply no chance to circle an enemy tank and use auto aim in combination with the circle of death. And furthermore, as we did not have any artillery in this game, we also could not anticipate incoming artillery shells. But all in all, I think this was a very, very decent example of what those tips mean and what you can reach, or what result you can reach if you follow those tips, and if you have the patience in your light tank, and if you precisely use your mobility, and if you precisely do step by step according to those rules. So 8,200 assisting damage, almost 900 damage dealt by ourselves, and so in combination about 9,100 damage overall, which is a decent result in the M41 90mm Bulldog, so the German Bulldog. And obviously this was a master tank, and yeah, overall pretty nice result. Alright guys, that was it for today with another video about light tank tips and tricks and how to apply those tips to get decent results in World of Tanks. What do you think about light tanks? Do you like this tank class? Do you think my tips help you out? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. consider subscribing to my channel, and I see you next time in another World of Tanks video.